So now that we've created our report, we need to publish this to the online service, because the online service is where all the consumption of our analysis is going to happen, not only by us, but by all our colleagues or all the people we work with. Now, to publish your report, it's very, very straightforward. You just need to publish it but via the home ribbon and the publish icon. So if I click publish here, it will sometimes ask you if you want to save, so I'll just save my new model. And then sometimes you'll get a pop-up box will say, well, which area do you actually want to put this into? And these different destinations or areas are what are called group workspaces, which I'll show you how to create shortly. But I've got a range of different group workspaces, but within your organization, these actually link up to, say, your groups or your teams that you might work in. So you might have a marketing team, a finance team, a management team, and so you can create workspaces. Now in this case, I'm just going to put this into my demos workspace. And so I'm going to go select, and then what this is going to do is it's going to publish to that secured workspace. So workspaces are only for provisioned people to view your analysis. And so I'm going to make sure that only the people that can view the demo workspace in my organization can actually view this report and this analysis. So depending on how fast your internet is, in most cases this can take a while to publish, but once it does, it's going to give you a confirmation that it's published, and then we're going to navigate to the Power BI online portal. So once that you have published your report, you will receive an alert saying that you have had some success in publishing your report to your Power BI online portal. So you can access it a number of ways. You can select one of these things, but you can also just log into your portal and you will see something like so. This will be your online portal. Currently I'm in my workspace, but if I select in the top left hand side here, you'll see that I have all my group workspaces. If I click on demos, and I navigate to the report, I will then see what we created in Power BI Desktop now, but the experience is in the online portal, in the Power BI online portal. So exactly the same look and feel. So we can dynamically now navigate around our insights in the cloud, in our online portal. Now, the way to think about the online service is that it is your distribution mechanism for your analysis. So you do all your developing in Power BI Desktop, but then inside the online portal is where you can share, collaborate, and consume the information that not only yourself is creating, or your team or your colleagues are creating as well. Because if you link up everyone via your workspaces, everyone can create analysis, put it up into the workspace, and then everyone can view all the different reports and all the different dashboards that are being created here. So the online service is also where you run all your administration for your Power BI tenancy, not only for yourself but for other people. Is where you can create workspaces, you can create dashboards, you can use the Q&A feature, you can use quick insights. You also have a number of different other distribution methods, so we can publish to web, to SharePoint, to PowerPoint. So there's a whole range of different things that you can actually do in here. Now, the one thing to note though, in the online service, you can actually do some of the designing of the reports yourself. So say for instance, we wanted to design some reports or build on top of the data model that we developed in Power BI, we can actually do that. So you have these, first of all, we're only in read-only mode. So if I go edit report, we can now start making some changes. So we can say we can drag our visuals around like so. We can change the formats, we can change the colors. So say I wanted to change this into a different color. And all of our color themes have actually come through to the online service as well, which is great. We can say look at visuals in a different look at different measures on our visuals. So say for instance we wanted to go total profits in here, we could take out total sales and flip that into the tooltip like so. So we can make all these changes online. Now the only consideration here, and why I tend to not recommend this, is that say for instance you make all these changes here, but then you then have to go back into your desktop model and make much larger changes. So say you want to actually change something around in the model. Well, if you go and republish it from the Power BI desktop into this, over the top of this model, all of the changes that you make in the online service will be copied over. So none of them will actually hold, because the desktop version will be your central model, which will have all the changes, all the calculations created, all the data model relationships built, etc. In the online service, you cannot do anything to your model. You can't actually see the data model. You also can't create any measures. You can't create calculated columns. You can't even see the data. So you just have to consider things, especially if you're changing things in the online service. Nothing is going to carry over into your desktop model. So you have to be very aware of where you're making changes and where your colleagues might also make changes. So sometimes even implementing a policy where no changes can be made in here is probably best practice, because you don't want a colleague changing something here and then you going changing something in your desktop version, republishing it, and then none of those changes are holding. And then everyone wonders where all their changes have gone, where their color changes have gone, where their visualization changes have gone. So even though you can do some things in the online service, it is quite limited. In most cases, it's better to actually make changes in the desktop. Where you would make changes in the online service is where you build a very detailed model template. And then on top of that template, everyone in your team or your organization might want to create a different look. And so what they can do is they can very quickly, just like we did in the desktop version, they can actually find insights. So say for instance, we wanted to look at our customer name, salesperson. Oh, that's the wrong table, sorry. So what we want to do is we want to go salespeople. So we want to see our salespeople, and we want to see, well, how many items have they sold? And so you can find insights like that. You can change the visuals. So potentially there'll be a scenario where you might want to let people create their own reports, and they can fully customize their own reports inside of the online service. I haven't found a case where not very often do I find cases where you need to do this, because if you have everything inside your reports, then the way you can summarize information is you can actually do that in the dashboards, which we'll go into in a moment.